So on my last video, I got a few comments basically saying that if your vehicle is too light and has too much grip, it'll flip over, which makes a lot of sense. If you have a flat piece of styrofoam and you put a grippy material on the bottom and then blow some wind at it, the thing will flip over. So as a result, I've brought it back in here and I've made the tires considerably narrower. So the car is a lot narrower, and it is true. The car does not flip nearly as easily. It wants to flip a little bit, but it is so much better. Also, I reconditioned it to be naturally aspirated and was able to get the results I wanted with the lighter tires and wheels. So that got me thinking, this car does a 2-minute 10, which is pretty epic. I think I'm gonna do a no downforce, balls to the wall type car like this to go up Pikes Peak instead. So we're going back to the very basics here. We're still going to go with the lightweight body, the front longitudinal, double wishbone, and push rod. But we're going to weigh this down a little bit more. We're gonna put in a very heavy engine, say like a V8. That won't come back with any repercussions at all, will it? Aluminium, dual overcam, 4 valves, and aluminium. Now, what I'm going for here is thinking maybe something like a small Ferrari flat plane crank V8. Oh, we could go a V12. Yeah, let's go V12. Apparently, this fits a V12 quite nicely. And a 3.5 liter? Nice. I like it a lot. Let's make this a 90s V12, at least, with a 5 valve cylinder. Oh boy, this thing is going to rev like crazy. High cam profile, a little bit of a head port here, head quality increase. We are going to need turbos because this is going up Pikes Peak and we don't want to lose power at the top. Got the performance there, so we have a nice wide power band. Multi-point injection per cylinder race. Oh, you know what? Actually, no. This is a turbo engine, so we can go dual. Do we go single? Nah, I hate single. I hate that lent over single look. Like, the lent over single looks dumb. I hate it. But a lent over twin, that works well. Then we're gonna go with a, oh no, well, you know what? This is the race version, so it's going to run a higher octane fuel. And it will have a better quality fuel system. Dual exhaust, no cats and no nothing here. Nice. 3-inch exhaust, we can get a little bit more power out of that, but we want to go with something a little bit more realistic with the exhaust size. 3-inch duals is a very common size. Wow, without increasing the engine bottom end quality, we can go up to 10,200 RPM? That's insane. All right, we want more RPM out of this, so we're going to up this to some forged stuff. Now we can go up to 11,800 RPM. Okay, maybe we don't need to go that high in the RPM range. And we'll drop that RPM down to a decent amount. And I think that will be good. Let's, valve. Okay, we're gonna go with our regular old race color yellow. I do like yellow valve covers in this game. For some reason, they just look really good. And let's give our new V12 twin turbo a bit of a listen. It seems to be a bit of an overheating issue. I think we're going to drop the maximum boost down a little bit. So hopefully the engine won't get the exhaust won't get quite so hot. But now we have a lot of octane to play with as well. There we go. We didn't really change much of the power there. Does it still get incredibly hot though? Yes, it does. That is unfortunate. But we are generating a lot of power, so we're good. We now have a V12 in here. So yeah, we've got a little bit of problem here with things poking through. How do we deal with that? I think we might move these around and then put some bulbous areas over there. Maybe we'll put something around here to scoop in for the intercoolers. Oh, you can see the turbos poking through. That's problematic. We'll deal with that stuff later, but we need to weigh this car down more. This car still weighs a lot. And all-wheel drive. There we go. We have lost a lot of wheel spin, so we are good. Now, I'm not gonna move a lot to the rear because this car is fairly balanced as it is. You can see here 57 to 42. That's pretty good weight balance. And we're not going to reduce the tire width on the rear at all. We're gonna leave that where it is. In fact, we're going to make the tires even wider. Ah, giggity giggity go. This thing's gonna have a bit of a problem. But you know what? I think I have to. I really do have to put on some sort of downforce because this thing becomes super sketchy. So we're gonna do a little bit of tweaking of some extra aero. A little bit to the side and a little bit at the rear. There we go. A little bit at the front and then just a little bit of a wing on the rear. And there we go. We have a under tray kind of diffuser type area now. There we go. We've now got that encapsulated. On the hood here, we're going to get rid of some of this jankiness, which I hated anyway when I got over to BeamNG because of just how absolutely atrocious it was. It just didn't want to work right. It was so irritating. Now, they don't really show anything here, unfortunately. So we're going to have to imagine how this would be. So you got your radiator up here. How would you get an intercooler into here properly? Okay, we've gone for the race style where the intercooler goes like that, and then, oh, you know what? Actually, no, we should switch these around. So then the intercooler is the one that is closer to the intake. Oh, we're really good and really close. There we go. We now have our radiator low and our intercooler high. So how this would normally go probably is the air that's coming in would then come in through the sides and then dual come up to the top. So now what we're going to do is put some pipes that lead into the intake. So we got here our blue intake pipes into our hose clamp. That's not the sort of hose clamp you'd use for such an engine like this, but I'm going with it anyway. Now we've got to encase this because this is poking through, doesn't look good. So we've got to create some sort of something. I don't know how I'm going to quite go about it. Okay, I think we are fairly good with our downforce. We might stretch this out a little bit. Everything else seems to look fairly decent. Still don't like this dash, but there's not really a whole lot I can do about that. Got a new exhaust system hooked directly into the turbos, basically. Got our intercooler and radiator there. Got our front splitter looking wing area. And the new housing for our area here. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of the bloaters, and this is going to be the V12. Is that? No, that's going too far. All right, let's fix that then. That looks good to me, right? Something about this wing just doesn't look right, and I'm not sure exactly what it is that doesn't look right. Okay, we've made it smaller. Hopefully that? No. Nah, it doesn't look right. I don't know. I don't know how to make that look better. All right, let's go take the bloater's Destroyer of Worlds over to BeamNG. Well, no. First, I'm going to do the modifying of making these things match and everything. If you want to check out how that works, though, I would suggest going to watch this video, link in the description. For now, what does automation reckon it does around the test track? Now, the previous one, I was able to get around it the fastest at 2 minutes and 8 seconds, which is actually a really fast time. And unfortunately, we've only been able to decrease that by 13 seconds. That is not amazing. We are still less than a ton, which is pretty awesome. You know what? We're probably actually close to 1,000 horsepower per ton, right? 478 kilowatts, 641 horsepower. So we're well over what the other one was. So this is a very powerful, very light car with some downforce to add a little bit of extra helpy around corners. This is a hefty boy. I get the feeling that this is also going to be absolutely atrocious. Well, here we have our car finally finagled into place. So we did copy and paste the node locations from the previous car. We've got our wings in here, and I found that it's whenever I export the DAE from Blender, that's when things lose their color. So I'm gonna have to look into that eventually. I'm not sure exactly what the issue is here. But for now, we're gonna go take this over and do an actual thing. So I'm finding out that I've got too much downforce in the rear, not enough on the front. So I might go in and I might reduce some of the front rear downforce. So currently we're at about 280 on the front and less than 200 on the rear. So let's get this up to speed and see what happens. We are getting no... Oh, okay. Sometimes we're getting extra downforce on the front, but the rear has over doubled, and now you can just see that the thing understeers like crazy. And also that when you turn really hard, it stuffs up the mesh, and then the rear fender goes inside of the wheel for some reason. Not sure exactly why that is. Also, check this out. Those front wheels, they really do go jiggly wobbly sometimes, but only sometimes apparently. Oh, well, that still happens. That's unfortunate, but I was really pushing this thing quite hard, so that's kind of my fault. Oh, I forgot, I have 2 rear wings. Oh, that's stupid of me. Duh. So we're gonna go here. We're going to reduce our drag coefficient to, say, 10. And then the lift is going to be reduced to, say, also maybe about 10. So hopefully, we'll be able to have a car that's not completely horrible. Okay, we are getting considerably less downforce in the rear now. We are good. Turning in, much better. We're getting a little bit of, oh, the front wheels are still jiggling around a lot. And I don't know how to fix that. I think that is unfixable at my current level. Oh dear. That headlight's trying to keep up with me. Go away, nobody wants you here. All right, it's time to give this one a good red hot go. That bottom bulge is a lot bigger than what I thought. Oh shit. There's that understeer that I was really worried would be an issue. Seems that I should have maybe done something about it more than what I did. Oh, whatever, we'll keep going. Oh shit. Can't see shit, what the fuck is happening? Okay, we brought it back so we can fix this particular issue. This bottom bulge is problematic at best. All right, I think we're ready to go back. I see no issue here. Let's do this. Well, shit. That's something I never changed. I never looked at the brakes. Oh, I'm an idiot. How far back in the development of the mod here do I now go? God damn it. Screw it, whatever. All right, yeah, I do need to go back and change these brakes. These brakes are not good enough. Okay, I believe I have fixed the issue. And let's give it a try. Not gonna lie, the brakes don't feel a whole lot better yet. Ah, shit. But finally, I did get a lap put down. This is after me for trying for probably about 15 minutes to actually do this. Now, the brakes are still not particularly great, but you notice they're going around the corner. This car does something amazing. At low speeds, not at high speeds. Here, like, you can see that it sucks. But at low speeds, where you point this car is where it goes, which may sound normal, but trust me, it is not. But also, the brakes suck. As you notice there, like, I had to brake earlier than normal, and even then, I was still only pulling up a little bit before the corner. It was not particularly great. Not able to take a lot of these flying slow to mid-speed corners particularly well, and the car is quite rudgy dodge. You just really have to brake early, come to a really slow speed, and then you watch this, just the car goes around, no understeer whatsoever, it just comes through the end of it, and you're like, wow, this car is so good. And look at this, you can start speeding up in that corner. That corner is usually particularly tricky. Now you see here, I'm braking early, getting into this slow speed corner, and the car just turns. I probably could have switched down a gear there, but that's fine. And then going here to a mid-speed corner, and I had to left. It was just too much for this car. You can't really take many liberties with it because it will just make you realize how bad it is. And you'll notice that I'm shifting down gears as I'm going into these long braking zones. And that's because I'm actually using the engine to help brake the car, because for some reason it just doesn't like to brake very much at all, pretty much under any circumstances. The ABS just thinks that the thing is going to chuck a hissy fit, so you have to really use that engine to slow it down, which is pretty good. It works really well. I don't know if there's many games that implemented a proper, oh yeah, that's right, this car doesn't like these sorts of things, and then it just becomes so sketch once the thing starts to bounce. But yeah, I don't think there's many games that have implemented a proper engine braking system, but BeamNG just has so many of these things which you just go, oh yeah, that's a real thing, and then no other game basically has that sort of stuff. It is so well thought out in a lot of the circumstances, but not every area. But here we go, finishing the lap. Well, at least I crossed the line. Maybe not in the best of ways, but I did. Well, that's not a bad time, actually. That puts me ahead of the PCP P2 Pikes version, and not far behind my LMP1 car. Interesting. Well, let's go see what this does on the long track. I get the feeling that if I at least take things fairly smoothly, that this car will be a lot easier to control on the long form track. Ah, fuck. So you're gonna see us now zooming off the line. And one thing I didn't notice while actually doing this, until now when I'm in the editing suite, I went back and I saw that, yeah, this thing goes 0 to 100 in 1.76 seconds. That is crazy. I've never actually had a car able to do something quite so stupid, but I suppose that's what happens when you get super light with really, really thick tires. And this car, like, sure, it's fast, but you notice here I'm having to slow down a lot for all of the corners. It's just slow here, slow there, slow pretty much everywhere, but in a straight line, oh my god, it's a muscle car. And then I had my first off, which is quite unfortunate because it did start to make the car feel a bit aged, is a way I might put it. Even though that was just a minor incident, you can see here that it's still actually taking corners fairly decently, and there's not really much understeer at all that you can notice. And here we're coming up to a hairpin. You can see here that it just, at slow speeds, this thing just goes around a corner so goddamn much that you really do think, wait, I probably could have gone faster, but then that causes issues like that where you stuff up and then have a bit of an accident. And you can see here that now the thing is handling quite badly. I had to, you know, go on a bit of an excursion to avoid that area here, and it is now actually starting to pull to the right. But here we are at the halfway mark, and we're only in like the 4 minutes kind of range, so we're in a good place to actually put in a sub 10-minute lap. But I am damaging this car every now and again, so that's going to be a bit of a problem when we get towards the end of the race. Now here we are, we're reaching the entry to the part that I know best, the Devil's Playground. And yeah, let's skip this part. Skip it, please skip it. Finally we finished the Devil's Playground area. Just skip this part too, please. Now, no matter how much I want to, I can't really skip this part here. This was a pretty big hit. That right there, that was enough to really, really hurt this car. Now it's like limping, like a dog that you have to put down. It is just not in a good way. It is pulling hard to the right. Any sort of hard acceleration is causing major instability with the car. So having to go quite soft on it. You can see here that even more damage is now being dealt to the suspension components. It's just not a happy camper right now. I have beaten on this car so badly, not because I wanted to, but because I lack skill. You'll notice that I don't actually have the navigation HUD up, and that's because I did have it on earlier, and I realized that I was getting really low frame rates, and I had to turn my graphics down. And when I turned it off, I realized that I got better thing again. Now, that was the final nail in the coffin. I now have to nurse this car. I am only a few corners away. You can see here that I've now just crossed the 9-minute section. I cannot put on more than about 50% accelerator because the thing will hard pull to the right, and under braking, it kind of like soft pulls to the left as it like kind of just starts to spin around. It is so bad, but I am doing my best. We got the final few corners here. We got this little bit of a snake up here, got a hairpin, and then a long sweeping corner to the end. We have really put in so much effort right now just to get this car to finish the final parts of this lap. I am so sorry that I've treated you so badly, car. I do love you. You do have some major flaws, one of which I think you can do with a lot more downforce as well, amongst a whole bunch of other things. But here we go. We are finishing our lap and actually crossing the line too. Just ignore that part. Well, at least I crossed the line. Oh no, that was pretty abysmal. Let's compare that to the other ones. So I've done a 9:56 before, and the Paul Blart kart did a 10:48, and on record apparently I've got an 8-minute, which I don't remember which one that is, but this one did a 9:49, which puts it pretty much second to last. I mean, don't get me wrong. Less than 10 minutes going up Pikes Peak is a phenomenal time. But I was kind of hoping for a little bit more. This thing has a twin-turbo V12 for God's sakes. But anyway, oh, that's thrashed. It couldn't be much worse than that. Wait, is the wing inverted? Wait, is that what kept on breaking? Because going up here, like, the front wing would keep on glitching out and then causing damage. I think that might have been part of what the issue is right there. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, but for now, I'll catch you guys next time. Okay, I was gonna try to drive downhill. Seems that I'm driving downhill a little bit faster than what I was expecting to.